What's stopping you from becoming a Catholic?
Why can't women become priests?
1-833-288-EWTN.
I don't understand why I have to earn salvation.
1-833-288-3986.
What's stopping?
Why do I need to confess my sins to a priest?
What's stopping you? This is Called to Communion with Dr. David Anders on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
This one from Priscilla, who says, my husband is, quote, against formal religion. He is a wonderful, charitable person, but he won't go to church himself because he says he is spiritual. And when he wants to talk to God, he goes straight to God in prayer. For a while, he called church a, quote, man-made invention, and has also said that many wars were begun because of religion. Well, I explained how these ideas were wrong, and my husband will listen, and I believe he is beginning to understand how the Catholic Church is very important to me. How can I persuade him, number one? And number two, is there any book that you could recommend? Thanks, Priscilla.
Yeah, thanks, Priscilla. I appreciate the question. So, the question, how do you persuade someone?
Yeah.
That's a very particular kind of question.
Depends
it really
on the person.
Depends on that person.
You sure?
But I would like to say a word about the whole spiritual and not religious business.
Thank you.
So, as I see it, and I think as the Catholic faith sees it, every human being conceived in the womb is spiritual and not religious.
Okay.
There's not a person on the planet who doesn't enter into human life spiritual but not religious. Because we are spiritual beings. We have a spirit. We have an immortal soul. We have an immaterial spiritual nature. We have spiritual faculties. We are rational. We have free will. We have the capacity for a certain kind of self-transcendence. We can give ourselves to things that are greater than ourselves. We can live for noble causes. We can do all kinds of spiritual things because we're spiritual beings, right? In the same way, we have a muscular system. I have muscles in my body. I can flex my arms and legs and pump iron. I can run. I can jump, but not too high, right? The fact that I can do these things doesn't mean I do them well. And you talk to my kids, and they'll tell you a lot of them Dad does pretty badly, right? Especially not only in the spirit aspect, but in the physicality realm too. I was always a terrible athlete. I had the unique distinction of playing bench on the high school B team basketball team.
Oh
right?
my!
And I recovered the rebound after every goal. Right.
Okay.
You know, the only rebounds I ever got was after somebody scored, right? Nobody else wants the ball, right?
Okay.
I was a terrible athlete, right? But you can improve, right, through practice and discipline. Now, what if somebody said, well, I'm physical, but I'm not athletic, right? And they presented that as a kind of a virtue. I don't need your basketball team and your basketball coach and your physical trainers and your breakfast of champions and your supplements and your amino acids and all this kind of training and the endurance. I don't need all that and the stretches. Because I'm physical but not athletic. So I'm better than all you basketball players who are on a team because I'm physical but not athletic. You'd look at me like I had two heads if I talked that way. You're like, Anders, you need all the help you can get, right? You're never going to make it off the bench.
Charles is laughing on the other side of the glass.
If you don't train with people who know what they're doing in the athletic realm, you're never going to make it off the bench.
Right.
Everybody's born with, an exoskeleton. Well, not exoskeleton, endoskeleton. Sorry, and musculature and nerves. But you got to train them to do what they're for.
Sure.
Okay. Everyone's born with a spirit, but you got to train it so it can do what it's for. And everybody that's born has difficulty bringing their spiritual nature in line with the true and the good. And we have an explanation for that as Catholics. It's called the wounds of original sin. So we're ignorant, we're morally weak, we're concupiscent, we're overly attached to, bodily and other kinds of pleasures. We're proud, right? We have malice. We're overly attached to our own good rather than the good of our neighbor. And when we do good, we pat ourselves in the back and tell us how great and spiritual but not religious we are. right? And the point of religion, at least from the point of view of the Catholic faith, religion is actually a kind of a virtue. Like a virtue is a habit that orients us towards some good. Religion, proper religion, true religion, as St. Augustine would say, is the virtue of properly orienting ourselves in our interior lives towards the love of God and the love of neighbor. And it's a lifelong endeavor, and it's a lot of work to get it done right. It's easy thing for you to mortify pride, huh? Is that right? That's easy for you? It's easy for you to avoid the sins of the flesh and concupiscence. It's easy for you to love your neighbor unto death, to lay down your life for those who persecute you. These are easy things, you say. They're not easy. In fact, even if I train every day with all that is within me, I'm not going to get them done unless God reaches down and remakes me in his image and likeness. And that's the grace I receive through the formal institution of the Catholic Church. And you say, I don't believe that, Anders. That's ridiculous. Look at all these people that go to church and they don't live like that. I didn't say everybody laid hold of this grace and lived like that, but look to the saints. Look to the saints. Look at how they credit their victorious spiritual lives. You will not hear them saying, I was spiritual but not religious. No, they're asking for every ounce of grace they can possibly get through the church, from spiritual directors, from the teachings of the tradition. That's how they became the overcoming kind of people they became.
Can you recommend a book?
Yeah, start reading the lives of the saints. See how they came. Find one you admire. Find one whose life you admire. Someone whose virtues you'd like to imitate. And then read about them and how they did it. And see if that was just spiritual but not religious that got them off the ground.
Excellent.